All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this episode of Fire Talk Radio is brought to you by uh, Cop Gets Upset with the EMT in New York because they're doing a good job. Um, China doesn't like Pelosi. Corbert's team gets dismissed even though they shouldn't have. And the Hoover Dam exploded. What the fuck happened there? And this and more on Fire Talk Radio.
We're still waiting on the intro.
Intro.
Come on, intro music.
I can only count to four. I can only count to four. I can only count to four. I can only count to.
Oh, I
think
can't get
Jason's
past
having
3.
fun trying to count, get stuck at 3.
I keep getting
ladies
stuck at 3.
and gentlemen, this is episode 40 of Fire Talk Radio. I'd like to thank you all for joining us again. We are live on YouTube as normal. Check us out there. Check us out on Facebook at Fire Talk Radio when you see all our updates. Check us out at firetalk.com, firetalkradio.com. Email address is firetalknetwork@gmail.com. Phone number to contact us is 814-380-9820. And the music you just heard at the intro is Psycho Stick. And actually, they're going on tour right now.
By the way, for those of that don't know, that's Ryan. That's what's talking. I'm Jason. So
yeah, I kind of just get everything else except for introductions.
yeah, that's right. That's right. So okay, this week though, I found a new podcast that is not political.
Oh Jesus!
So it's kind of been fun. Did you watch Boy Meets World?
Are you talking about Pod Meets World with
Yes.
Sean Topanga and Eric? I've been watching
Yes.
the shit out of that. Fucking,
Yes.
it's
So-
just fucking nostalgic.
I love it. I grew up with Boy Meets World. I love Boy Meets World. Like to the point that
I'm gonna tell you now that like our
at my brother's-
generation, that was Topanga. It was always Topanga.
oh, it was always Topanga.
Fuck.
There was like Topanga and then every other girl. So ruined so many relationships, I think, in my life because I'm like, you're no Topanga. Like you're a 10, but you're not Topanga, so you don't get there. But it's so fun to listen to. Like they're talking. One, I love because I studied film and everything, so a lot of the stuff they're talking about is film related, like back scene stuff like that. I love
They're
that.
talking about all the backstage stuff, all the shenanigans they were doing,
Right.
and
But then they also they talk about like the episodes and how none of them can remember the episodes. Like
yeah,
it's so funny because when you hear them talk, and I know this from a lot of actors. In fact, I used to do a Lost podcast, and I had some of the cast from Lost on there. And we just talk. I didn't go like geek out like Star Trek geek on them, and an episode in season 4, episode 13, you said this, but
what did you mean by
like
it?
I always like when I introduced them, I would take cuts from Lost of their dialogue and stuff, and sometimes they'd come on and they'd be like, yeah, I don't even remember saying that. Like, I know it's there. It's my voice, but for the life of me, I don't remember ever saying that.
You gotta think about it. It's their job. They probably just fucking do the line and just move the hell on.
That's the thing that what I love about this listening to them is they talk about how you know, basically like Will Friedle, who played Eric, was saying like in the whole first season, like all I had was one-liners. So they would like hand me the script and I'd walk on and they go, there's your mark, walk in, say this line, walk out. So to them, it's like, it'd be like someone saying, well, do you remember in episode 3, you said this on the Fire Talk podcast? Nope. I don't remember what the hell I said.
Right.
And it came out of my mouth and there was no writers. Them literally, they like get their lines, they walk on and say their lines and walk out. And so it's funny watching them rewatching.
They were
like
talking about the house, and Eric thought where Feeney's house was the side.
yes,
And
not the
The
backyard.
guy who played Sean and Topanga, I can't remember. I only remember them by their character names. Said like, no, that's the back of the house. The kitchen is to the back of the house.
See, I always thought Feeney was behind them. That was their backyard.
The way
Because the
always
garage
looked-
was
it
on the
was-
side, because you walked from the through the house, you walked through the front door into the living room. Then they had that swinging door that every sitcom
Yeah.
in the 90s had, and they even mentioned that part too, that
Yep.
every sitcom in the 90s had that swinging door. Then you walk through the kitchen, from the kitchen into the backyard. From the backyard, you had to walk, basically it was downstage, but you assume that basically they're going to the side of the house to where the garage is whenever they did shots of them playing basketball in there.
Yeah. Because I forgot what episode it was. They did a weird aerial shot over the Matthews house, and you could see the fence line of Feeney's house. So that's how I figured out the house.
Which is
behind.
strange, because even the exterior of Boy Meets World was shot on a soundstage.
Oh yeah.
So like everything of Boy Meets World was on a soundstage. Like there was
Yeah.
nothing outside.
No.
Even the outside shots were inside.
Yeah. No. I mean, technically, the house is supposed to be in Philadelphia, so they probably just found a house similar to what.
Yeah. I
In
always
Philly.
figured it was like a suburb outside of Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Like
So-
they definitely weren't in the city.
No. No, not at all.
I've been to
Um,
Philadelphia.
Not until they got to what the new version of it, which is Girl Meets World, which is with Corey's.
Oh
daughter.
yeah, because they're in a flat in that one.
No, they're in an apartment in
Is there
New
a
York.
difference between an apartment and a flat?
I'm
I always thought a flat was just a really big apartment. Like if
possibly.
not,
I'm not.
if
you know,
not,
I
then
couldn't tell
then
you.
in college, when I used to tell people come back to my flat, I was severely misspoken.
No, I remember. So like in Maryland, so you have two versions of townhomes, and it's similar to New York. So you have your townhouses, and then you have your Brookstones. And I was like, the fuck is the difference? They're connected from house to house to house. It's a townhouse.
Well, that's like in England. Have you noticed some of the streets literally don't have they have their own houses. They're considered houses, but they're all literally one giant like townhouse,
Yeah.
because there's no gap in between. Like they're literally connected, but they can paint them separate colors if they wanted.
Yeah, we'll have to keep up on Pod Meets World, because that is a very entertaining nostalgia of reminiscing the past.
It's so fun, and I think coming up in the next episode or two is when Topanga finally makes her first showing.
Well, I mean, she's been doing the show. They've been on her Instagram and on the
No,
TikTok.
I mean, you know how they cover episodes
Oh
of Boy Meets
no,
World.
they did one where they already did that one with when Topanga met Eric for the first time, and Topanga fell in love with him. And then that was the last time those two actually had parts together.
I'm gonna have to look. I thought I was caught up on it. I
No,
have
they
been
already talked
binge
about that.
listening to. I have been binge listening to that show. Like
It's entertaining.
crazy.
It's definitely a nostalgia kind of thing. Yeah.
Well, you know what else is weird though? From a like a coach's point of view, i.e., an educator's point of view, is growing up. Like Mr. Feeney, like basically stayed their teacher, their friend, their mentor. That's a good one. Their mentor for
The
their
entire
entire life.
time.
Yeah. Like literally right up to being their like teacher in college. I mean, come on. But like me as a coach, it's interesting because like I have like a certain number of years or time that I'm actually with my wrestlers or with somebody. And then they move on, and like the only time we ever see each other is if we run into each other at Walmart or something. So it's like
There's another one.
you get
There's
this,
another
like-
podcast I've been watching. It's Teachers After Hours. It's where teachers are like when they're no longer in school, and they talk about how students are. Like,
Did you ever, I think we mentioned this in an early episode. I used to have this weird theory that when I was like in first or second grade, that my teacher lived at school. Like
they did talk about that. They talked about that, and I had that same aspect. I was like, yeah. And then when I would see
Like,
my teacher outside, I'm like, what?
Yeah, like to me it was like I went, like the teacher was there, like the teacher was like an automatron or something. You went in, the teachers were there, they taught, and then when you left, they like got put back in a closet or something and shut down for the
or
night.
they slipped under their desk. They
Yeah.
they ate and everything. They lived at the school because they got paid.
Yeah, and it was always that weird feeling when you would run into them. And or like me now, I've had like youth wrestlers that are shocked to see that I'm a normal person and I'm out shopping and stuff with like their parents are. And then it makes me feel really bad because I don't remember anybody's names unless I have to. So these wrestlers, it's like in the middle of summer and they come in, oh, hi, coach, and I'm like, oh, hey, you? I know you. You're my wrestler. Please don't make me try to remember your name.
I suck at names. I really
like
do.
I've always sucked at names, but then when you're on a team and there's like 80 kids and you have to remember, like I remember like a handful of them, if they, it's like, I remember your name for the 6 minutes that you're on the mat that I have to yell at you.
Yeah,
And
sounds
then it gets thrown away. So speaking of not remembering, this just came out today. This is from the Blaze that the White House is trying to mop up another Biden gaffe. So I just pointed this out to you right before we went
a few
on
minutes
air.
before we got on the air.
So Biden was at a climate summit and gave a speech.
Drove, mind you, he drove in the blockade of SUVs. And go back up to the main picture first.
Oh, okay.
Everybody else, when you watch this on YouTube, everybody introduced you to the life-size Walter.
Yes. He is completely Walter. Like he's got the scowl and everything.
All right, I'm gonna email Jeff Dunham when the show's over. I'm like, please go get your dummy. He's loose in whatever state he's in right now.
He's ruining us. So, all right. So here's him at the summit. This is what he says, and I'll play it a couple times because it definitely set things on fire.
During a speech that he's made in Massachusetts overnight, the president was discussing the effects of oil refinery emissions when he indicated that he had cancer.
And guess what? The first frost, you know what was happening? that had to put on their windshield wipers to get literally the oil slick off the window.
Huh?
That's why I
The
had so
fuck
damn
is
many
an
other
oil
people I
slick
grew up
on the
having
window?
cancer.
The White House clarified.
So let me play
the
that
president had-
again.
Literally the oil slick off the window. That's why I and so damn many other people I grew up have cancer.
Did you hear that?
That's why
No,
I
I
and so
heard it.
damn many other people I
Absolutely,
grew up
I heard
have
it.
cancer.
I'm
He
trying
said
to figure,
that's why
I'm still
I
trying
and
to
so
figure out
many
how
other
oil
people I
slick
grew
on the
up with have
window
cancer.
and cancer fucking work in this sentence.
Okay, so two things. One, what the fuck's he talking about with an oil slick? Like is he saying it's raining oil? And
I wish it was. We wouldn't have me paying $6 a fucking gallon.
but it's only when it's frosty out that you have to. Okay,
Welcome to Flint,
um,
Michigan.
yeah. We'll talk about Flint too. Not the water though. But no, at the end he says that's why I and so many other people have cancer. Not had cancer. Not could have cancer. Or that's why so many people that's why he said that's why I
think that was done just before the speaker went up yet today. So I can't wait to see Peter Busey tomorrow. Peter Ducey. Sorry, Peter.
Busey?
Busey.
Gary Busey.
Busey. Here I was watching I was watching Lethal Weapon earlier today, so yes, I was watching Gary Busey. Peter Ducey to ask this dignified question of what the fuck is he talking about that he has cancer now?
Right. So, according to the White House, let me see. The White House chimed in to reiterate that Biden was not confirming a new diagnosis, but that he was merely referring to previous bouts of skin cancer, which have been removed. Okay, first off, oil doesn't create skin cancer. Not that I
Oil
mean I'm not a
doesn't go on
doctor.
your
I guess it might,
windshield.
but
Unless you're throwing a Molotov on it.
like now all of a sudden he's got radioactive oil coming down, raining from the sky in Delaware.
And if
Is that
anybody
what he's
doesn't
saying?
realize where I said that joke for the oil and the Molotov, have you ever seen the movie Payback by Mel Gibson?
Oh yeah.
That's what he does in the movie to the mobsters. He walks up, sprays oil, and then throws a Molotov on it. I'm
Right.
like, that's a dick. That's the only thing I'm thinking. Like, is he trying to get like oil off so he's gonna get hit with a Molotov? I mean,
But then he didn't say in the past tense like I had cancer or that's why people get cancer.
he said he has
that's
cancer.
It's why I and other people have cancer. So
Fucking moron. He's a moron.
So of course, the White House now has to mop things up for him because the guy can't keep anything straight. And I think what it is he tells so many lies also that now in his old age he can't figure out which is a lie anymore. Like when he was younger and he was telling lies, at least he had a little bit more faculty to him to be able to keep it straight a little bit. He'd get caught in lies, but you know, he wasn't like stumbling over himself saying that he was a truck driver or a college professor and that has cancer and is now president.
That's what we do with our old people. We make them president for 4 years.
God.
So I should tell my wife at her nursing home. We're going to start sending all of them to.
Just send them all to 1600.
Yeah, right.
Oh. So that's our president this week. We should probably just have like a whole segment on what Biden said the week before that.
I
Like,
can't do it. I can't do that. No, I won't. I won't do that because I know I'm getting old and I know my mind's starting to slip. I really don't need it to fucking go. I really don't. I need what's left of the few brain cells I have left. And I mean few. I've smoked most of them away.
So, but you mentioned Flint.
Oh, I
So
was just
this is-
making fun of the water. I
Yeah,
feel
but you
terrible
mentioned-
for
you
Flint,
mentioned
Michigan.
Flint. So I haven't been on a date like with someone besides my wife in many, many years.
Okay. I didn't know where we were going with this, but okay.
So I don't know the current dating climate out there,
No, you don't want to. It's crazy.
but evidently a woman in Flint sued a guy
oh, yeah. This
because
one.
she had a bad date. A woman in Flint, Michigan, Michigan woman had her lawsuit transferred out of court after she judged for questioning her knowledge of the law when she decided to sue a man for taking her out on a bad date. Shaquante Jones filed a suit against Richard Jordan in 2020, accusing him of intentional infliction of emotional distress caused
I mean,
by
she
their
has
date.
crazy eyes too. Good lord.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, I'm just gonna put it up. I have it in front of me too.
Okay.
It's from TMZ, so we all know how fucking legit this shit is.
No, this is legit. I found it on other sites too.
Look at this. Look at these eyes. She's got fucking crazy eyes, and this guy is sitting here like, oh my god.
I can't believe this is happening.
What the
this
fuck are
can't
we
be
doing?
true. Right.
I probably spent like $50 on her, and now she wants $10,000 because
the date didn't go well, and she claims that he misrepresented himself or didn't show up or something like that. Let me keep reading. Per TMZ, the legal documents allege that Richard intentionally hurt her feelings when he did not show, and left her mother's birthday, and her mom had passed away. So I'm assuming her mom died. She left her mother's birthday to go on this date with him, and he didn't show up. Bitch, that's on you.
You left your mother's birthday for a date?
That
My
she
mom
met
would
on,
have
like,
if
Tinder
my
or
mom
something.
my mom passed away. If I had done that, my mom would have thrown a shoe at me.
So she argues that as a part of this, when the actual lawsuit got thrown out, then she tried arguing that he perjured himself by putting misleading statements on a document. So the document that she said he lied on was basically what the dating app was.
And the judge stopped her to remind her that perjury can only occur in a courtroom, and because it's committed under oath, which
Right.
she took offense to.
Right. Follow the link on our page for this episode and watch the video. It's like 10 minutes long, so we're not going to play it.
No, she's
But
fucking crazy. She is fucking
basically, the judge got fed up with her and said, fine, if you think this is perjury is a criminal offense. This is civil court. So
Have a nice
she
day.
pushed it over to the prosecuting attorney, and it's up to them if they want to file charges.
Man,
Like,
I understand you want to meet people online and all, but you really got to test yourself now with these online things, because I guess people be crazy.
Well, even be crazy to the point that just because I didn't show up or someone didn't show up for a court case, now they're being sued.
Yeah. Speaking of fucking crazy, okay,
I'm putting that
so-
under the Stella Award.
So in New York, EMT is bringing a patient to the hospital, mind you. You know how the loading dock is supposed to be clear, right?
Yep.
Supposed to be clear. Not supposed to have a police car sitting in there for no fucking reason whatsoever,
It
blocking
not supposed,
for-
and it wasn't even just like a marked police car. It was unmarked, so it looked just like a normal
car.
civilian car.
So, in New York, officer was hit by an EMT car, by an EMT in an ambulance trying to get their patient. The officer was so upset, wanted their information. The EMT said, "I'll give it to you once I bring this patient into the hospital."
Right. Well, and it's not even that like he hit his car, he smashed it. They had to park next to his car. As they were opening the door,
They dinged it.
the ambulance door dinged the car.
Yeah.
He wanted their license. They came out of a freaking ambulance. They're wearing EMT outfits.
Yeah.
They're trying to haul a guy that's dying into the hospital. And this guy, I'm assuming detective, the way he looked, you'll play the video. So there's
It's
the
really-
EMTs. They're working on the guy. This guy literally walks up, pushes the female EMT into the wall, gets handcuffs her right on the spot as they're trying to perform life-saving care on this patient.
From
Couldn't wait till
From-
they were done.
no,
Couldn't now the guy is on administrative duty.
paid leave. He's on desk duty.
Yep.
While while an investigation is happening. This is a blatant, like, I'm a hothead and I just don't give a shit. He's just having a bad
That's what
fucking
the-
day.
Yeah,
feel
that's what
the
this
im-
is.
This is just a retard with a badge.
This is a guy that wanted to flex his muscle.
Oh yeah.
This had nothing to do with good cop, bad cop. In this case, he was definitely a bad cop. But
He made
at
a
least
bad
from the evidence
he made
that
a
I
bad
saw-
choice. He made a fucking bad choice. He should have said, "You dinged my car. So I
It
don't get
wasn't
in
even his
trouble.
car.
Can I
It
get
was
some
the city's
information
car.
from you once you are done?"
it was the city's car. It wasn't his car.
Or yeah, I mean, he has to turn that information into his superiors. Hey, there's a
Right.
ding in the car. They got to keep, I guess, track of
Yeah.
all that shit.
Yeah, you keep track
So-
of it. It's a quick form to write out. And
And
pretty much
my
nothing
thing
happens.
is
The
like,
car
I
has a
see
ding.
officers. They're like, "Yeah, I really don't want to do paperwork." He's doing more paperwork by arresting her than waiting for fucking 2
Right.
seconds for the information for the ambulance.
This is again, he was just flexing his authority. He was saying, I have the badge, I have the authority, I'm going to use it to punish you. That's all he wanted. He wanted to punish this person because they didn't listen to him right away. Unfortunately, I have seen officers like that.
Have you seen those TikToks where they do the First Amendment audit against some of the police officers?
Yeah, some of them aren't bad. Some of them are I'm like, dude, you're the person doing the audit. It's like,
Some are a lot of them are just being really respectful, and it's like, hey, these are the laws, and the officers are like, some of them get wrapped up and they fall down that goddamn rabbit hole.
I like some of the
So-
Second Amendment audits.
Yeah.
Where there's one that I can't remember what state it is, but you're allowed to open carry if you're hunting or fishing. So the guy straps an AR to his back and goes fishing off a pier. And of course, everybody throws a fit. Cops are called. Most of the time, it's not a big deal. Every so often, there's one. But the thing is I don't particularly like them because it's one thing to know your rights, like videotaping in public. All right. You can, if a person is in public and you're not on private property, you can videotape.
Yeah.
You have no right to privacy once you leave your house. Now some of these, they're videotaping because they're auditing. They're videotaping just to get the cops pissed at them,
Get the rise.
get the rise, put it on, look at this guy. I don't like that. If it was I'm here videotaping because something happened and you give me a rise, or you get a rise and tell me I have to stop. Well, yeah, then then there's a legitimate. I just don't like it when it's just, I'm going to do it just to troll you, which essentially that's what they're doing. They're just trolling. So nope, I don't particularly like that, but, I think for the most part, a lot of police officers are getting wise to it. So they're just like, oh, you're one of them auditors. Okay. And walks away.
Yeah, no. So one thing that happened in the last day was a handful of people got arrested while protesting in front of the Supreme Court because they're still upset about the overturn of Roe v. Wade. It happened. I mean, yes. The thing is, it comes, everyone has to realize the laws come back to the states, and the states have that power.
Right. Because,
and the thing is, everyone's like, oh, we
because
should
the
ratify
court
it to the
finally agreed with
Constitution.
what we all knew, which is there is no constitutional right to abortion, to killing somebody.
So a little history lesson: to ratify to the Constitution, it has to be 2/3 majority of the House, 2/3 majority of the Senate, and 2/3 majority of the states agreeing to amend the Constitution.
It's
They
intentionally
don't have
hard
votes.
to do.
They won't have the votes. Period.
No,
that is
an amendment is intentionally hard to do. It was intended like that.
I mean, I understand Roe v. Wade was based on court proceeding for the last 50 years. The courts left it alone. They didn't touch it.
Yeah, but there's so many other ones like that too.
They may not have gotten to them yet because they're doing the bill of the same-sex marriage, which shouldn't be in the federal government's hands anyways. That should be to the states because the states have to put out marriage certificates.
Right, there's
I
no
believe
federal marriage certificate.
Government should have fucking shit to do with marriage because it should be from you and your partner's decision. I believe you should marry whoever the fuck you want. Doesn't it concern me? I don't give a shit. You want to marry another dude? Marry another dude. You want to marry a dog? Marry a dog. I don't
know
care.
if the dog can give consent.
I don't know either. I mean, Tesla married a bird.
But where the only thing is I think to me is religious. It's got its roots in religion. So that's marriage. Now, signing a contract like a cohabitation contract or a union contract with another person that we're going to share our assets, that's a contract. And therefore, it falls under contract law. Like, no different. So, me and my wife have a marriage license, which is essentially a contract. We share our assets.
Yeah.
That's why when you get divorced,
I look at mine every so often, look for the expiration date.
Yeah, I do too. But that's why when you get divorced, they, in an ideal world, divvy things up equally if you guys are equal. Like, you take half the debt, you take half the debt, you get half the assets, you get half the assets, because you combine them. That's no different than if me and you started a partnership under a legal partnership under Fire Talk. You know, if we said, hey, we're going to make this into an LLC or incorporate, and we're going to be incorporating with just each other, and we're going to each bring such, so much to the table, and we have a falling out, we don't get a divorce. At this point, we have nothing in writing. So basically I say, fuck you, Ryan, I'm done. Or if we had a contract, it gets a little bit harder, because if I want it out, you say, okay, that's fine, but you have to buy out your side. And that's where I think the government should come into play, which is, but here's the other thing, because I've thought about this. Me and my wife could get divorced. I think we have to live apart for a certain amount of time and then move back in together and never get married. Still have all the exact same everything that we have now, with the exception of sharing insurance. But we're still sharing bills. We're still sharing like a roommate. And we could even still be raising our son together.
There's nothing in this world that's, because a lot of states have gotten rid of the common law marriage.
Yeah.
In most of their states. So, yeah, in theory, there's nothing saying that you can't do it. I told my wife, I was like, there's no, I mean, we gain more money if we divorced.
Right. Oh, yeah, us too. Because then we'd be filing separately.
Yeah.
We'd still have the same in the house, still have the same income, but we'd be filing separately. And rather than showing that one bigger tax number, it'd be two smaller tax numbers. In which case, then we would both qualify for more
assistance.
Well, not assistance. Tax write-offs and stuff like that. But anyway, so, and in fact, I can tell you, I know this for a fact, because me and my wife were separated for a couple years. And then, during that time, I did our taxes. We were still legally married, but under the tax law, if you're living separately for 6 months, you can file separately. And not married, and separate, but just separate.
Yeah.
File individual. And we both got money back at the end of the taxes. We both got money back. But as soon as she moved back with me that very next year, same amount of money. But we filed taxes. One, we owed it.
Yep.
So, but anyway, so that's where I say there is nothing stopping a person from saying, you know what? I'm not going to get legally married to my husband, wife, other guy, whatever. Partner. But I'm going to go to our church and I'm going to have a marriage ceremony. I'm going to take the vows that I won't leave my wife or my husband. Same vows, same everything. We just won't have that contract.
Yeah. And that was the thing, like, back in the day when the LGBTQ was fighting for marriage rights. And don't get me wrong, could have cared less. If you want it, have it. More power to you. If you want it, I'd rather you have it so you can feel all the pain I deal with when I'm married to my wife with all the taxes I have to pay.
That's what I always said. Yeah. Yeah. You wanna go through the same BS we do?
Yeah, go for it. That is all you. That's all you.
But I don't think they should force like a religious institution or somebody.
No.
Because that part is religious.
Yeah.
So that's where I have a separation. But again, it shouldn't be federal. It should come down to the state. My license is not a federal license. It's a license in Michigan, from Michigan. It says it. It's got the seal. It's actually from my county. It's got the county seal. Like, That, which I never understood the whole marriage quote unquote license. It's not like I'm driving a car. Like, let me see your marriage license.
Right?
I've never had
I
anybody
think I
ask
think
that.
the only time I've ever had to use my marriage license is literally like the months after we got married. And then after that, I put it in a fucking box and that was it.
I think we did that. Yeah, I think we did that when we combined our insurances and put each
Yeah.
other on our insurance, and that was about it.
Yeah, that was it. I was like,
And even now, I've had multiple jobs since then with insurance. They always just say, "Who's your spouse?" and I put her name.
Yep.
Why do I need a license? Again, it's a contract. That's all it is.
all right. So yesterday there was a rally for Roe v. Wade overturned. They're outside for their reasonings and all. I am all one for the peaceful protest as long as you're not breaking the law. So they were breaking the law. They were impeding traffic. They came out and said, if you're not going to, you can do this, you just can't impede traffic.
Right.
This is
Stay
on
the
First
sidewalk.
Street. This is on First Street in Washington, D.C. I don't know if you've ever been to Washington, D.C.
It's been a number of years.
First Street is very fucking crowded. Let alone for cars, let alone for people. And it's a main connector to a handful of other side streets. So yeah, that's a big no-no. So a handful of the squad got arrested. AOC was arrested, which is hilarious, is that she's holding her hands behind her back there.
Right.
No
like
cuffs.
she's handcuffed, but then waves in the video, waves to
Yeah,
people.
she fist pumps. And it's like,
Yeah. Now,
no.
look at what she's wearing. Do you remember? It was hot yesterday.
Yeah.
In Michigan, it was
My
in
thing
the
is-
high 90s.
There were 16 legislators at a protest, not in their office trying to delegate money around to try to pass bills or anything to do something. They want to sit outside and just yell at because that's all they're good for.
Right.
And their numbers are up at fucking midterms because midterms coming around and they got to fucking show something. And what
One
the
of them
fuck are they
is
gonna
from Michigan, Rashida Tlaib. She'll get reelected because of the area she is a representative for. But okay, go back up though. Look at this. So AOC, what is she wearing? 5 layers plus a jacket
and a scarf.
and a scarf. I don't know if I can trust anybody in 100-degree weather that wears that much.
Everyone behind them in the background is wearing, even the cops are wearing short sleeve shirts. And you see
Right.
skirts, you see dresses, you see shorts.
This was, I'm sorry, I'm going to call it. The way that she dressed and everything, she was planning on this happening.
This was a stage.
This was a set. Yeah, this was a setup. She didn't get housed anywhere. She didn't get in any trouble. This was a staged thing.
It was a stage, and that's what's dumb about that. It's like they rather make a spectacle of themselves than actually do what they're supposed to be doing.
Well,
In
she tries to make it out like she's some 1960s protester getting hauled off and the dogs called on them and all that. It's like, princess, you haven't had a day of hardship in your life.
you know she's complaining about her salary of $173,000, right? What?
Mind you, she wouldn't give any money to her nana, her grandma, who was, I think, in Haiti and living in poverty in Haiti. Like, she is so fake. And she acts like she's going to run for president. She's like, oh, yeah, I might run. And I'm.
Please don't.
She is so fake. she barely wins her district in New York, and she expects that she's going to somehow win a national election. It's like Kamala Harris running. She won her district in California, runs, and is like the very first person out in the presidential run.
So this is most likely, this kind of goes in hand with what the squad, because the day before that, Rep Tlaib is talking about wanting to expand. So there's a request in the House right now to add 4 more justices to make it a 13 Supreme Court. Mind you, the Supreme
They
Court
have to
hasn't
get it
been
done before January.
Mind you, the Supreme Court has not been expanded for the last 150 years.
Right.
We went from 7 to 9 150 years ago. Because they figured 9 was it.
9 works.
And they're all like,
I'm not hearing any audio.
oh, I must hit the button. Forgot to hit that button.
The check
That
mark.
button would work. Check my audio.
Our democracy that is reflective of the majority of the American people. And right now, 6 unhinged, unelected Supreme Court justice is literally telling women they have no control over their bodies. They're telling communities like mine they don't have a right to breathe clean air, that profits come before them and their public health and their lives. And so again, it is so important that we move with urgency. My residents, I know many of our residents, they don't have another day, another year, another, term, another election to wait for transformative change. This is our time. We were in control. Let's act like it.
So
My
she starts off by saying that they're not following the will of the people. Basically, that's not the job of the courts.
So, high school. Let's go back to high school real quick. U.S. government was my freshman year. No, I'm sorry. It was my sophomore year. It was NSL, National State Local Government. When our Constitutional Republic was created, and I will say that we're not a democracy again, we are a constitutional republic. For the fact that it is that we have checks and balances called the legislative, the electors, and the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is
I'm
to
sure
make
there's
sure.
a Schoolhouse Rock episode of that.
Oh yeah, the Supreme Court is to make sure laws are being followed by the Constitution.
Right.
That is it.
Laws, yeah, that
They
laws
have
are
no-
not that laws are constitutional.
Yeah, they have no legislative ability. They can't just go make willy-nilly laws just
And I love how
'cause.
she says 6 unelected judges. Unelected? Every judge is nominated and voted for.
And then if
That's
they're
every
voted,
single
then
judge.
they're sworn in by the president.
So the 4 you want to put in would be unelected because they would be nominated and then approved. They're not elected. They're nominated.
That's the thing about the justices.
So
they
don't
are lifetime.
she makes
don't
it
have
sound
to
like,
run for their
we're going to
position
vote on 4 new judges. No,
Yeah.
you're not going to vote on 4 new judges. You're going to put in the leftist of left judges that you can while you still have the votes to do it in the Senate and have the presidency. And that's exactly it. They're not elected. They're not elected judges. All judges are appointed. All judges. That's the point of it. They get appointed, the judge gets appointed by the executive branch. So they say, hey, we want this person. And then they get voted on in the legislative branch in the Senate.
I mean, I understand we don't want old timers in, like, really, really old people in Senate and House. I understand that. But also, really, really young and new ones that don't know the laws.
Yeah, don't
just
understand
make
physics.
it even harder.
Civics, not physics, civics. So this comes back to the Democrats thing of we can't beat them with the rules that everyone plays by, so we want to change the rules for us. And again, every time they change the rules for them, it comes back and bites them in the ass because the Republicans will play by them same rules later on. They did that with the judges. All right. Harry Reid didn't like that not judge nominations were being filibustered. So he removed the filibuster on judicial appointments. And what happened? Yeah, they got a bunch of appointments in under Obama until the Republicans took the Senate again. But then they have to live with them consequences, which is now the Republicans...
They weren't able to get that last justice in before Obama got out of office. They quote said, oh, we'll just leave it for the next president. No. They had no choice. No matter who they were going to push, the Senate at the time was all GOP. Therefore, they didn't have the votes.
It was 52. They had 52 or 53 GOP seats.
So therefore, they were not going to allow Obama's pick to get pushed through.
Right. They didn't have the votes.
Trump was able to get all his votes through because GOP ran
Amy
all
Coney
4
Barrett,
years.
Right, including Amy Coney Barrett right at the end because Harry Reid changed the rules. And by Harry Reid changing the filibuster rules, the Democrats had no way of stopping them.
And they're talking about trying to get rid of the filibuster again. And I'm like,
because they're idiots.
You realize the filibuster is your only savior in the end.
Right.
And
the Democrats are so stupid they can't see past their nose. So they say we need something right now. They don't think, 4 years down the line, 5 years, this is going to flip. And we're going to have nothing to be able to stop. The filibuster is there to slow down bad legislation. It's there to slow down and to stop so that one side can't just ram through what they want on a 50-49 vote.
Exactly. Well, so I never thought I would actually get back to this story. We were supposed to talk about this like weeks ago, back in June, with Stephen Colbert's team entering the Congress after hours with no escorts, no passes. Found out
they
it was Adam
basically just
Schiff.
walked around and were taking video of whatever they wanted.
So the story is Adam Schiff left them in.
Shifty Schiff.
He has little backstory on it. If I can move my mouse fast enough, that'd be fantastic for me. So back in June, Stephen Colbert's team has this thing trying to load, and I'm trying to stop it at the same time. They were arrested. They went into Capitol Hill. No escort, no passes. They weren't supposed to be there. They were there to do a B-roll shot. As Jason and I both know what a B-roll means. Basically, it's just extra shots that they can use
footage, cut-in footage when someone's
Yeah.
talking.
So that was what they were there for, but it wasn't made known to the Capitol Police as it fucking should have. So they would have
Now-
gotten their passes.
Did I get this wrong when I read or remembered that Shift actually let them in through like a back door?
He did. He did let them in through the door. That's what baffles me. And so this happened, and they were all arrested, which, yes, they fucking should have been. And the other one never loaded. So as of yesterday, magically, charges have now been dropped to Colbert's team for unlawfully entering Capitol Hill.
So they break the law. Shift breaks the law. Let them in. So this just shows again, so much comes down to the prosecuting people prosecuting, that you can pretty much get away with anything you want if you know the right people and they refuse to file charges.
Yeah, so
Or, like in the case of Kyle Rittenhouse, they filed charges when there were no charges really to have.
man, I heard he's going to be on a lawsuit frenzy soon because he can't go to school anymore because they won't let him because of all the because of his name.
Yeah, every time he applies to a school and gets accepted, the left throws a fit and gets him kicked back out again.
Yeah, so it's going to be entertaining what happens to that kid in the end.
I hope. I mean, I know everyone's been saying he should be filing lawsuits against everybody left, right, and center already, but really he should be. He should be. And then if it was me, I would have someone on retainer, ideally with the money that I got from like CNN, to file a lawsuit against anybody at a school that withdraws his application due to political pressure.
Yeah, that
Or
would,
maybe if like, somebody, leftist group starts, protesting and they do end up pulling, sue the people protesting.
speaking of us talking about guns, did you read the story about the Greenwood Mall shooting, correct?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So the left likes to say a good man with a gun will never stop a bad man with a gun.
Even though we have example after example after example.
This is another example. Okay, so the mall that they were at is, quote, a gun-free zone. But under the laws of Constitution, the state that they're in, they do have constitutional carry.
Right. Which basically means you can conceal carry just about anywhere with few exceptions.
Yes. So there literally when it started happening, the shooting happened, started hitting people within seconds. It was going to take minutes before the officers actually got to said scene of this crime.
And if they were anything like Uvalde, it would be hours before they did anything about it.
Which in this situation, very minimum casualties. I give kudos to the kid. They said the officer, I think it's on the other link I have. The kid braced himself against a pole.
Yep.
Drew his handgun and just he drew down on the gunman. And as he was doing that, he was trying to get victims to go past him so he could keep going forward.
He killed the guy with a pistol with a 40-yard shot and hit the guy like 8 times.
Yeah. I think he shot all 10 shots out of his
all
pistol.
10 that he had in his magazine. 8
Yeah,
out of 10 at 40 yards. That's freaking awesome. Like that. Whenever I hear someone say, well, they're not trained as good as police officers, I don't know many police officers that could make that shot.
The kid did, I think, one of the best things is use that pillar as a brace.
Yeah, to stabilize himself.
How long is this? Oh, this is like 34 minutes. There will be a link in the in it where the police officers talk about the shooting. So if you want to watch it there.
But this brings back what I was saying a few episodes ago, though, which is people that carry concealed protect people that don't. So if you don't want to carry a firearm, that's fine. But me carrying a firearm protects you in multiple ways. One, when you have seconds to react, police are minutes to hours away. All right? Having that firearm is like having a fire extinguisher. All right? You need it on hand. So that protects a person that doesn't carry a gun in that way. It also protects you because not only am I there with a firearm when it's needed, or somebody else is there with a firearm when it's needed, but it gives the bad guys pause to not know who is carrying and who's not, because any criminal will tell you they don't want to have a problem when they're committing a crime. They don't want to go into a house where people are home. They'd rather go into a house where there's nobody home. They don't want to attack somebody that can fight back. They're not going to go after the big giant bodybuilder. They're going to go after the small girl or, the older people. Because they're easier targets. They go after the easy targets. Well, a firearm is an equalizer. I don't care if you're 6'4" in bodybuilding and studied jiu-jitsu your whole life, or you're 4'9" female weighing 100 pounds. Having that firearm means that you're both just as deadly and just as much of a problem to that would-be attacker. And them not knowing who's carrying and who's not means that everybody is safer, because if they're smart, they won't attack people. That's why they always do attacks in gun-free zones.
I completely 100% agree with that. I mean, no, we're not asking it to be the wild, wild west. I mean, there are laws. As long as you follow the laws, no one's going to give a shit.
Even the Wild West wasn't the Wild West. It was more dangerous to be in Boston in the late 1800s than it was to be in Deadwood.
Yeah. And
did Deadwood really exist?
Possibly.
I know it was a TV show.
Yeah, it was a TV show.
But these Western towns, it was we hear about the shootout at the OK Corral and all that stuff. But again, you were, from outlaws, should I say, it was more prevalent, to get attacked by a criminal, in Boston or New York than it was out there. There was a lot of other dangers, obviously the landscape. There was marauders that would attack homes. There was, I don't know a politically correct way of saying this, but the Indian attacks,
Native Americans,
Native American attacks. Even that doesn't seem right, but either way, so there was other, but the thing is when it comes to actual murders by firearm, the cities were still more dangerous. Even though, and part of the reason is you don't try shooting up a saloon or shooting up something when everybody in there can shoot back.
That has always been the thought about it. This is going to be a nice weird U-turn. Dr. Fauci's leaving. Good old Mr. Fauci, Daddy Fauci. Wants everybody to get the jab, because why the fuck not? So,
did you hear there's a new jab also? There's a new company.
Yeah, there's a fourth version. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nope, that's not happening.
That they claim will get the people that are apprehensive. Because it's more traditional.
It's set up like the original flu shot, how the flu shot works. Which, no, fuck you, no. I don't even get the flu shot. Why the fuck am I going to get a COVID shot?
The way I look at it now is, at least for someone my age and my health and everything like that, I already got COVID. The latest variant that's supposedly going through
Ninja.
California and everything now.
It's the ninja.
The ninja. Basically, you
COVID
get a sore
ninja.
throat. You get a
I
sore
swear
throat.
to
That's
God.
it. Like, you don't even know, half the people don't know they're sick because all they get are, I got a tickle in my throat.
Yeah, fuck you.
They don't even get the sweats or anything like we got. Come on. We were old school. We went through the OG.
My thing is, and
You
Carlin
don't
said
know how
it
to
best.
respond to OG COVID.
Right. Carlin said it best. You would never get sick if you swam in the Hudson, and he used to swim in it all the time. And I have to say, I think he would have been the only one that would have never gotten COVID if he were still alive. He'd be like, COVID? Fuck COVID.
I swam in the Hudson. I love
I'm
that.
just going to go take a
That's,
dump in the
that's
Hudson.
from You're All Diseased, I think, isn't it?
It's something like that.
From
I
his
miss
HBO
him.
special.
I think he was one of the few comedians I actually never got to see live.
No, I never did either.
I was supposed to. The year he passed, he was supposed to come to my area, and I actually was getting tickets, and then they announced that he passed right before it, and I was like, son of a fucking bitch, this is fucking bullshit. I was gonna call off work and everything.
I was pretty close not too long ago to call you up and be like, I'm coming to visit because Joe Rogan's coming to PA.
Saw that. I've seen
was a while
Joe
ago.
Rogan live stand up. I have, and he is up there stoned 90% of his act.
Yeah, he says that.
And I don't get me wrong. When we started doing this, Joe Rogan's show was something. It really was. It was a definite change in the conversation. But man, he is really making that U-turn. He really is. I don't know what happened. I can't explain it. I don't know what
U-turn in what way? Like,
his actions, like in his conversations that he has. He's really going more back to the far left liberal side. Like Joe Rogan sat in the middle.
Yeah.
He would go with both. He would look at both sides. He would stay on the left, and that's fine. That I could care less about. Politically, on any sense, I have friends and family that are both Republican and Democrat, and this is what we do. We have a conversation.
I don't know. I mean, he had Gina Carano on not that long ago. That was a good conversation.
It was. No, it just doesn't. His tone doesn't seem the way it used to be. I think it's just the way I listen to it. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't noticed. I mean, I haven't caught his last few episodes because anymore he puts them out so often that every time I check it, I'm like, I want to
like
listen
4 or
to you.
5
and, like,
episodes behind.
yeah, I'm so far behind. I'm like, ooh, look, he's got Zachary Levi on there. Shazam and Chuck from Chuck.
Oh yeah, speaking of Shazam, I gotta find it. I'll send it to you. Fucking Sinbad admitted.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, Sinbad admitted. Before we go into anything else, because we've had this, because we were talking about the Mandela effect not that
With the
long
Hydron
ago.
Collider.
Yep. And
Yep.
everyone was like, everyone remembers Sinbad, but yet Sinbad goes, I didn't do it. It wasn't me. I'm trying to get the video queued up here if my thing will load here. Because I know I sent it to you. Because I thought that shit was hilarious. There it is.
Yeah.
So, for the longest time, people believe that.
I'm telling you, he was Shazam.
Oh yeah, he was Shazam. It started playing in my ear. And I was like, no, stop it. All right.
When people remember Shazam, the truth about Shazam is it was a bad time in my life. And those tapes were taken off the market, the rehab, the drugs, the driving fast, the fast women, and that part of my life. So thank God I asked everybody to volunteer to give their tapes back. Everybody turned them in. Everybody turned them into 7-Eleven. Everybody had a 1-year period, like buy back guns. I will buy back your videotapes.
And drop it in a red box.
Thank God I was able to get most of those tapes back. Thank God.
And glad you're
And
back.
I'm trying to hear the first station I told about it. You guys have the scoop.
Exclusive.
I've never told the truth. It's time. When people remember
The question on this though is he telling that in jest? Because it sounds like he's telling it in jest, But then at the same time, like, I still remember freaking cover of Shazam. I don't remember the damn movie, but I remember seeing the cover.
No, because if you Google like Sinbad for that time frame, yes, he was in a bad spiral. I could honestly see him doing that. Him going, I'll buy everything back. I'll buy it all back. I'll give you all your money back if you give me the goddamn tapes. And then, so he would be like, no, it didn't happen. So all those that turned in their tapes, like, yes, it fucking did. We watched it.
Yeah, we owned it. We gave it back to you.
So
it's either a Mandela effect or a big giant gaslight. Sinbad is gaslighting the world.
I'm really just. God damn it! I hope not.
We all got.
I don't need any more fucking.
We all got gaslit by Sinbad. Oh God. Oh, that's making my brain hurt.
Well, I was watching TikTok. All right, so someone made the comment about we are the champions. All right. You know how at Live Fest, at the end of the song, when he goes, we are the champions, and then he takes that pause then he goes, of the world.
Yeah.
Right? You remember that. I remember that. It was also in the ending of Mighty Ducks.
Yep.
So
Mighty Ducks 2.
The LP release actually does not have
I know that.
End of the world of at the end. And everyone's like, they're like, so they're trying to Mandela effect that. I was like, you motherfucker, I will fucking pull out the Mighty Ducks and go to the damn credits and show you And it was in Bohemian Rhapsody, the movie, when they redid it. They did. He did the part of, and I was like, stop this. Fucking made my brain hurt because it's like, I've listened to Queen, I think, since first grade. And that was actually right after Freddie Mercury passed away. Because I started first grade in '89, and he passed. I believe he passed away that same year, if not right beforehand. My parents liked Queen, so I listened to Queen.
I'm
but I was
looking
also-
up. They
I
have
was a
the full thing of
huge-
Live Aid on YouTube.
Yeah, had to pull that up too.
So
And it
while
was
you're
like-
talking, I'm like,
Like I said, the original LP album doesn't have "Of the World" at the end. It just says "We Are the Champions" at the end of the song. But if you go to Live Aid,
hold on,
the '80s Live Aid,
we're gonna get kicked off YouTube for playing music, but I don't care.
we just don't get monetization. I don't give a shit.
Because I
Wanna-
wanna. All right.
See, right there, the end of the world.
So let me take it back a little bit.
You will never get a lead singer like Freddie Mercury in a lifetime again.
Right there. So he tried saying, or somebody tried saying that he never did that?
No, they were saying that the original LP doesn't have it, so it never happened. So all the old fucks came out of the fucking woodwork on this guy's TikTok, because he's losing his mind because he's like, it was there, and I was like, yes, it was there. YouTube, Google.
I don't know if I ever had the original Queen like LP of that. I had like the best of Queen CDs that came out in the 90s.
My parents had the records, and
Yeah, I never
it's
had.
not on there.
But I think I remember it
It's-
being on the best of Queen. Because
And
that was the
it
other
most
part that
likely
always got
was.
me. That was the other part that always got me, because on the best of Queen, it went straight from "We Will Rock You" into "We Are the Champions." And when I
Yes.
worked at the radio station, and just about every
That's how it's always
radio-
been.
it's always "We Will Rock You" and then "We Are the Champions," even though they came out like a decade apart from each
Yep.
other.
No, the reason why that actually happened is because of the Mighty Ducks movie. Because that's how they played them in the movie. That is the order they played them in the movie.
I know they played
And-
"We Will Rock You" during the game, and then
Yes, because
"We Are the
it
Champions"
was at the
when they
final
were
game
sitting
right at
around
the end.
fire.
They were playing "We Will Rock You." So and it would still play as the credits would start to roll, and then it would run right into "We Are the Champions."
Ah, yeah. Well,
So that's how it ran,
talk,
and it was like,
talk about screwing with my head though, because on my CDs they run right next to each. The radio stations I work, we had to play them. It was all one. Wasn't two separate songs, like, because we had this that basically like an old version of iPod that was on like a Windows 95 computer.
yeah.
And it went from like you
They'd
had
be
to
linked
click on a
together.
song or it would autoplay. And it was never two separate songs that were right next to each other. It was always just the one song. It was like an
Well, I mean, that's what they did at Live Aid too. They did We Will Rock You Live Aid, then they went into We Are the Champions too. So I mean, granted, they were albums apart, the songs. But that was the thing about Freddie Mercury, is that all his songs complemented one another.
Speaking
And
of my son,
I
don't know if he's hooked yet, but and played in my list. It was what's the real name of the song? It's the Highlander theme.
Princess of the Universe?
Princess of the Universe. And it played that, and he's like, I've heard this. I love this song. This is an awesome song. I'm like, dude, you've had to have shown it to you. No. So I showed him Highlander.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And he loved it.
There only can be one.
Then I made the mistake and showed him Highlander, the TV show, before showing him any of the other movies. And he was really freaking confused because
the TV show was actually really good too.
Oh, I love the TV show. He loves it too.
It
By the way, if you want to watch it, it's free on Tubi. So I showed him. So we're into the second season now of the TV show, and with Duncan. And by the way, I'm a Duncan fan. I like Duncan a lot better than Connor. And anyway, so now I hear that song, and I'm like, every time it plays, I keep forgetting that there's other verses, because all I keep hearing is the opening credits to Highlander.
There's actually two versions of Princess of the Universe. There's actually a short version and there's a long version.
See, we used to, in broadcasting, we used to just shorten them ourselves.
Do the short versions. Yeah, no.
So we're watching. So now he's like, he asks the question that completely stumped me. And then I'm like, shit, I need to watch the other movies now. He goes, wait a minute. At the end of the first one, Connor won the thing and became. How is Duncan there? Where's the other people? I'm like, fuck. It's been so long. I know Connor went back in time because he was old in the second one. And then had to go back, and I'm like, oh. I'm like, I think they just ignored that.
It was like a thing with like an alien too. I don't remember. I remember it was weird.
So now we're on this like mythology trip of trying to figure stuff out. And like one of the theories is that Duncan is an alternate timeline when Connor went back in time, second one, to become young again and all that stuff. And like, or another person just said, oh no, he just won them battles in that city. He wasn't the last one overall. The game is still going on.
I was gonna say Highlander went for like a ton of it feels like I want to say like 7 seasons.
It's 4 or 5 seasons, I think it is.
I want to say more than that.
And then I never realized back in the day that half of it was shot in Canada. The other half was shot of every season. The first half was shot in Canada, which is why the first half looks so much different, in my opinion, better quality. Because the second half they shot in France, because one of their investors was a French investor that said, if I'm going to invest.
Not surprising.
So there's a lot. So like I told Chase, I'm like, you know what? We're just gonna have to watch. We're gonna have to watch the first one. We're watching the series. We'll have to watch the second one. Then I think Endgame, which is the third one that I think is the one that doesn't follow canon, or maybe, and then the one that came out where Duncan and Connor are together, and then like we'll just have to follow them all, and then really confuse ourselves because Highlander's more confusing than trying to follow like the X-Men and trying to follow that storyline.
Wait, the animated or the live action?
The live action.
Oh, that one's easy. The animated is the one that's the hardest.
No, the animated seems easy. It's the live action trying to follow that storyline.
Everything got fucking rebooted when it was retarded. So what was it? Oh fuck! Now I forgot what I was gonna say. No. Speaking of older shows, Quantum Leap is coming back. Did you see they're remaking that?
They're rebooting it. Yeah.
Rebooting and adding like it's like continuation. They're like restarting the project.
Please tell me in this one they at least get Scott Bakula's character
Yeah.
back home.
I don't know. They don't know.
like-
They haven't answered that. So I saw where they were talking about it, and I was like, did he get stuck? Did he come
Yeah.
home?
No, he never made it home.
Who knows? And all, but because San Diego Comic-Con is about to come up, and like
Yes. That
So
is like a
that's gonna be
treasure
interesting.
trove of what's coming up.
yeah. So we all know Marvel doesn't let in humans, so they've been hinting at mutants. I never watched Miss Marvel.
Neither
I-
have I.
I
But I
couldn't-
had a friend tell me I need to watch it because it actually fills in and does with the MCU.
Yeah, they only make the connection to the 10 Rings.
Oh,
so,
really?
and then the upcoming Marvels movie. That's about it from what I've gathered. So I'm like, I really don't care. Hawkeye made a better fucking impression to me than fucking Miss Marvel.
Hawkeye was fucking awesome.
And then, so, there's a rumor that Sony's also going to be at San Diego Comic-Con to greenlight Andrew Garfield's Amazing Spider-Man 3.
Sweet.
You saw No Way From Home. We've
Oh,
had
yeah.
that conversation.
Oh yeah.
So that whole
Is
part
it weird
where,
that I liked Andrew Garfield better in it than any of the other?
okay, so Tobey Maguire was my first Spider-Man. I gave Andrew Garfield a chance when he did the Amazing Spider-Man. I thought he fucking hit it out of the park, especially with his quirks. So
Yes.
when he didn't get his third, I was very upset. I was like very disappointed that Sony just dropped it, because Venom was just coming out. So it was like Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, Tom Brady's Venom.
Now Tom Brady's Venom though is on a different Earth than Andrew
No.
Garfield's.
No.
It's the same Earth.
Yes.
Ah, okay.
So Eddie Brock is on the same Earth as Andrew Garfield's, but he's not in New York anymore. He already got fired from the Daily Bugle and got
He's
sent
down in
to
he's down in Mexico.
yeah. But that's when Venom started. He had just left the Daily Bugle to go to San
okay.
Francisco. So, and Peter Parker actually never got hired. So that's why we never saw the interaction like we saw in the original Spider-Man of Tobey Maguire and Eddie
The
Brock.
Tobey Maguire Spider-Man and Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, so that's the change in that universe. So we all remember in No Way Home when Andrew Garfield's character said he got bitter. He got angry and he was not holding his punches back. This is where we're going to hopefully get to see that story. But remember, everybody got set back to their time. So the ultimate question is, did Gwen, they're rumoring that Gwen was saved by Electrode. Because in the poster that they're
because he was
synopsing,
sent back before
Gwen,
he died.
Gwen
Yeah,
Stacy is wearing the Ghost Spider suit. And I was like, I would love to see Gwen Stacy as Ghost Spider. And then see Andrew Garfield get his fight with Venom and get the symbiote suit.
Mhm.
So it will be very interesting.
Well, the other talk that I is in the MCU universe is that they're talking about bringing Miles Morales in as another Spider-Man, because now they've done the 3
That's
episodes.
So that is that was Andrew Garfield. So Electrode made the joke to Andrew Garfield. I thought you, young guy in Queens, I thought you were black. So that was the subtle hint about Miles. It would work in either universe, Tom Holland's universe or Andrew Garfield's.
Well, from what I read, MCU wants to be done with Tom Holland.
No, Tom Holland wants to be done with Spider-Man, but he already signed for 3 more movies.
Oh, did he?
With the MCU. At the end of No Way Home, it was announced he did sign for 3 more movies. They just never. He's taking a break from Spider-Man. Whether he actually returns or not is the ultimate question. But that was the plan, that they were going to do 3 more. Plus, they're also running right into Disney Plus's series Secret Wars.
Yeah.
Which we already know Tobey Maguire is returning for his version of Old Man Spider-Man. Madam Web is supposed to be making an appearance in either her own movie or a series. Which, if you don't know who Madam Web is that one that connects all the spider people together through
the Spider-Verse.
the multiverse.
Yeah.
Which is fucking weird. So I've never understood that in all the years of me watching
I always
comics
just chalked it up to she's like spins like a spider web version of
each
Doctor
dimension.
Strange. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Doctor Strange, you know, how he jumped through and all that stuff. She does the same thing, but she uses, because they always make her look like an actual spider.
Yeah.
So, like, she's magical and she's magic. Yeah.
We're going to keep an eye out. I will keep an eye out for San Diego Comic-Con. I will probably do updates only because, yes, it isn't political. I know we like to talk political and all, but we like to talk about other shit. So that is something that's coming up, and that will be interesting.
Yeah.
No, back to our regularly scheduled program.
Yeah. I was gonna say I need to chat you real quick. So in Riverside, I'll chat you.
Yeah. But that's fine. But so short synopsis of Fauci. Fauci's leaving, saying that he wants to retire. and wants to do it by the time either Biden's first, and then call it a day. But
Yeah, he wants to do it, but he wants to wait until Biden is at the end of his president or his first term, which it's like, well, if you're gonna quit, just quit now.
yeah,
Like-
but the thing is, like, if the House and Senate does get that red wave, he will be under investigation scrutiny. Him retiring is not going to fucking take him out of bullshit.
Right.
But we'll see what happens. So I think we're going to end it from here. We'll have this discussion. Please listen to us and send us your emails and questions. We'll work them in. Voicemail us at 814-380-9820. Our email is firetalknetwork@gmail.com. Check us out on our website, firetalkradio.com. Check us out on Anchor and YouTube and Facebook. We will check you out next week. And have a good night, everyone.
See you guys.
We